Okay, folks, it's Locke again, the head wizard at 8bit. Um, just briefly, I'm going to show you the 8bitACE editor, which is hosted at orcs.biz, 8bitACE. So this is it. It lets you store publicly, but you don't have to store it. Pastes, if you wanted to share code with somebody on 8bit, you could pass them a link. So this editor will recall previous pastes. So here's an example of code that may or may not work, but the reason why I use the 8bitACE editor is because it is invaluable in eliminating problems with your code. It lets you think of code in a more standard way, and then it creates a minimized version of that code. So let's take a look at a couple of things. And here's a bit graph from an earlier thing, so you could store those here too. But you can't recall this inside 8bit. But you can paste it into 8bit. So let's create a new one. So here we're going to some attributes. So let's say we'll say this is cmd.hello, which is a command called hello, and we're going to start on an object #676 that happens to be me in 8bit. So then what we want to do is inside of here you're going to create the code that would follow after the equals sign for an attribute. So $, we'll say it's SHELLO, shello will be the command, colon. And you can hit return, and you can, in brackets, place each function. When you type a function name in that matches with a predetermined list, which is pretty complete of the functions in 8bit, you can type show picture, for instance, and it will highlight it. And let's see, @chat public equals show picture %r, show picture open parentheses, close parentheses. So it does some parenthetical matching, bracket matching. It'll also tell you if you have an uneven number of them. So if I added a stray bracket here, it would say, look, there's only one left bracket, but there's two right brackets. And so you have to kind of search and find that, which is one of the major blockers to code working. So then show picture, and we'll just say a DNDL15, which happens to be one of the pictures of D&D. So now that I have this, I can add other commands here. So %r does a new line, and I could do show picture DNDL14, maybe another %r. It says @chat public. I'm going to make this pose, so I don't spam people. Pose %r. So it's just a way to kind of work on code in a way that is a little bit more easier to figure it out. And you can also go down here and click mushcode quick ref, and this shows you just a list of all the functions. Add, max, mean, median, wipe, ANSI, break, die, is dbref, etc. You can click it again to get rid of it. So that's useful for looking things up. It tells you how many lines the code is. You can click new paste up here to start a new paste. You can click sanitize, and once you've sanitized it, now you've got a one-liner that you can copy and paste. Click OK. Then we're gonna paste that into 8bit. Now I should have a command on myself, shello. Yeah, so shello, and it shows those two pictures with a pose in the room. So there's that. And this gets pretty complex. For instance, when I was working on the telephone system, there's a pretty complex function here with lots of different things going on. This one has already, I was working on it, so I pasted it into here. So I copied it from 8-bit into here, and now you can go through and on each single line of code you can add a return to separate each command that's being called when this function is invoked, ring state, on the flip phone. So you can type an object name in here. I can zoom in on this a little bit. So flip was the name of the object I was working on. I don't recommend that as much as a pound, like pound 5083 or something like that, is way more precise. So then in this particular function, it's just setting a bunch of local variables, making a determination with an if-else. Let's look at a different one. Well, here's a version of the ASCII function from pound 388 that I was working on, and as you can see, I can format it in here, but then the output text is just a single line, and that's basically how you can do all that stuff. It does recognize certain special codes, and it does some highlighting, and again, you can click Save As and give it an alphanumeric name that's unique. You'll have to take a look at that. Now it's going to be available to anybody who wants to come to this page and look at it, but that in a nutshell is the ACE editor. Let me zoom in there a little bit. Again, you're doing bracket matching here, so you can determine where stuff is. You can wrap things in a null block, which covers up the returned one from FB functions, and that's in a nutshell how the 8-bit ACE helps you. Sometimes I'll download an entire object, so let me go back here. This is the D&D character creation object. Oops. Maybe if I... You know how it is with scroll wheels anymore. They just don't do what they're supposed to do. You can't spin them like you used to be able to spin them. Okay, so you can see I've downloaded all of my character creation process, and then I've got them all in there. And what I find myself doing is taking the part of the code there and just putting it into here and then formatting it so that I can see exactly what's going on in what order and make changes that way. And then I could save it here and recall it later. Or I could just take the output of it and put it back into this interim copy and then paste that into 8-bit. So I do that a lot to do more complex things with code. Thanks a lot, and have a great day. Good luck coding. And don't forget pound 500 if you needed to find out some fundamental thing about 8-bit coding.